The Hemp Wizard signature series artists are Walking Corpse Syndrome, So High, Black Sasquatch, Fester, You can give your beard the magic touch by going to hempwizard.net today and rock out with your... Just kidding.
Well, good evening. How are you? That's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another edition of the Hard Rocket Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rocket Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together. We bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And 1 week and change to Christmas. You know, I've been celebrating since November 1st. I listen to Christmas music every day on the way to, on the way from, and during my workday. I got it rocking all day long. I love it. And I'm looking up now, and I went, oh, my God. I got 1 week to Christmas, 2 weeks to the New Year, 3 weeks, and my stuff gets put away, and I get very depressed. But we'll make the best of it while we can. Thank you for joining us on a Thursday night. Tom Florio here with the rest of the crew coming on board in a minute. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. We got a really good show. Guys, I am flat out exhausted. I've been up since 1:30 this morning. I haven't taken a nap. I haven't closed my eyes since 1:30. Slept for 3 hours last night. I got a doggy who likes to get up in the middle of the night. Normally, I go right back to sleep, but last night, I was up. So I have not slept since 1:30 this morning. I am flat exhausted. I got a 5-hour energy in me. I will do the best I can to hang on to this show as long as possible. I was falling asleep at my desk this afternoon. So that's, we'll do the best we can. We got a ton to get to. We got NFL playoffs. We got a lot of concerts to talk about. We got playoff seating for our locals. Let's see what else we got. We got hot stove baseball. We're not going to talk a lot of baseball, but this time of year between the football playoffs coming up, baseball, hot stove, concerts for next year, the holidays. Boy, this is a great time to do this show. So buckle up, Buttercups. We got a lot of things to get to tonight. We're going to get as much of them in as possible, but the only way to start this show off is one way, and that's get my buddy, Mr. Jeff Sauce Talwinski on and kick off. By the way, thanks to the boys at Corners of Sanctuary, Mick Michaels and the boys. That was Christmas together. I appreciate he gave me some Christmas music to play. I'll play a little bit more next week. So thank you to Mick and the boys at Corners of Sanctuary. Thank you guys for the Christmas music. Some new videos, some new commercials for our boys at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Co. Where's my Hemp Wizard stuff? I don't know where my stuff is right now. Oh, there it is. Hold on. Remember Cushmints, as advertised by Jeff. And this new signature line from the Audible, right here from the Hard Rock and Sports Show. But without further ado, let's get my partner on and my partner crime on. He is, of course, Mr. Jeff Sauce Talwinski. Hefe.
What's up, man?
Sauce, how was your week?
Well, I was sick last week when we seen it.
Yep.
And turns out my wife has COVID this week.
Wow. Now, you didn't have COVID, correct?
I don't know. I've never tested. I've tested once for COVID.
Do you think they'll recommend that I get a shot or wear a mask because we were in the same place together last week?
Well, no, that was after the fact.
No, what I'm saying is, I'm being facetious. We were on the air together when you were sick.
I was trying to think. I thought you meant at the party, to be honest.
No. I know.
I think we'll be all right.
You think we'll be all right? I'm not sure. They must have some sort of a new inoculation I might have to take. I might have to wear 3 masks. Jeff, I've heard the rumors that they're looking to put back the mask mandates. What's your thoughts on the reoccurrence of the mask mandates?
Where did this come from? Who said?
Yeah, it's been all over. I don't know if it's the CDC or your boy Fauci, that fraud. But there's a little bit of a rise between the flu and COVID, and there's been some talk that some of the mask mandates may come back.
You got to be fucking kidding me.
No. I listen to a lot of. Besides Christmas music, I listen to a lot of music talk. I'm sorry, news, and that's one of the things they've been talking about is that the. I guess it's the CDC or the NIH. One of them has kind of recommended that some mask mandates be put back. And I know that people are a lot of the politicians are queasy about doing it because they figure people just ain't going back to it.
No, well, why would you at this point in time?
Yeah. So, but it's lurking. It's out there. I will not be putting a mask on if you put a sign up in your store or your restaurant. Or in your cabs or whatever, and say you can't come in without it, I won't be coming in because I will not be putting a mask back on.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I ain't wearing no mask.
Exactly. So, but it's just, I think they're feeling the loss of control of us, Jeff. They want to go back to controlling us again.
I don't know. Whatever.
Well, here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show, have no mask mandate. We're mask free on this show, Jeff.
What a shame, man. If we got to go backwards.
Yep. So we'll see. Again, let's not bring the show down. It's Jeff. It's a week and change to Christmas. Have you been enjoying the Yuletide? I know you've been doing a lot of decorating. The house looks fantastic, but are you feeling the spirit yet?
No.
Jeff, I'm disappointed.
Yes, I am too. I am too.
What is in the way? Is it the sickness? Is it life?
No, it's just a couple things have been going on at work.
Okay.
I have some jerk off that transferred over where I am. I hate him.
Ah,
So that gets on my nerves and other shit. I'm a little concerned about my vacation because people have been getting COVID at my job. So I could see them saying, "Oh, well, we're going to have to cancel your vacation."
Oh, that would suck.
I know that certainly is going to suck if that's the case.
That is the annual Talwinski feels like 2 months off vacation.
Yeah, well, it's only a week this time.
Oh, wow.
And on top of that, I was kind of hoping that the annual jam would happen again this year, and half the people on the thing didn't even answer the fucking message.
Well, Ronnie Morms is no longer on Facebook. I wanted to tell you that. So I spoke to Ron. In fact, Ronnie reached out to me to say, I want to do it. I want to be in. Please make it a Saturday so I could be there. So Ronnie Morms is in. I think the only person I did not see answer, obviously, was your brother, which he never comes anyway.
No.
And Paul Gill, which I don't know what's up with Paul, but everybody, Father Bob says he can't make it on the 5th. So Ronnie would be in. Drew seemed to be in. You, myself, Jimmy said yes. So the only one really still hanging out there right now is Paul Gill.
Oh, listen, maybe we should just book it and then send him a message and be like, what's the story?
I'll reach out to Paul. I didn't notice if you invited everybody. I don't know if
I found an old thing.
Yes, I saw that.
And he would have definitely have been one that I would have asked anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, he would have, would have been in.
All right. Well,
I wouldn't ask Joey because I know that every year he,
Well, that was my point. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, the only thing for me the last couple of weeks I've been trying to figure out when we would actually have it, because between the holidays, both Eves are on a Saturday. The Friday before New Year's, which is what I would have probably did, you have the Remorons. So that night was out. So we were down to next Friday, on the Christmas Eve, which I thought was probably a bad one. People trying to get home, it's probably a bad time. And then during the week, Ronnie couldn't do. So I was just about to message you just before you made that to say, hey, Jeff, why don't we just do it the week after New Year's? And probably be a lot easier to get most of the guys there anyway. And it seems like, again, other than Paul, I think everybody probably can make it for the 5th. So maybe we should just book it. And that way we know about it. 3 weeks from now, we'll be getting together.
Yeah, that sounds good for me.
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about it more off the air. But we got a lot to get to tonight. We have a lot of sports talk. We got a lot of music talk to get to. A lot of playoff stuff. A lot of big. If you look at the playoff picture, Jeff, and I know you probably haven't done much of that this week. You know what we should do? Let's get my dad on. I want to bring up our fantasy team. We got to put our lineup together for this week. We got to make sure we get everybody in. And then I want to talk about the playoff picture. But let's get my dad on first. Let's get him, see what he's up to, what he wants to talk about, and then we'll move on from there.
All righty.
Hold on a second. What's up, Pop?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Hey,
Good.
Jeff.
How
you
are
doing? Good. First of all, Tommy, tell Lukey we got his card.
Just so you know, your little fur grandchild, he has the habit of getting up in the middle of the night. So my dog has this habit, and he does it every night without fail. The only question is what time. Sometimes it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Sometimes it could be like 3:45. Well, the last few nights it's been like 1:30. So every night he does it, he wakes me up. I have to take him to go to the bathroom. He gets back into bed. He gets a treat for going to the bathroom. Then he wakes me back up to get a drink immediately. So by the time he's eating his treat, I'm half asleep. I have to get him a drink, and then he goes to bed. Well, last night he did it, 1:30. 1:38, I'm crawled back into bed, ready to go back to sleep. I got to get up at 4:20. So 1:38 becomes 1:48, becomes 1:58. I ain't going back to sleep yet. All right, let me go. I said, let me get up. Let me go sit in the Florida room. I'll put the TV on, and I'm sure I'll fall asleep to that. Well, 4:20 later, I'm still wide awake. Wow. I go back in. My dog is in bed under a blanket, snoring up a storm. And I'm wide awake and got to go to work. So He's in the
life.
proverbial doghouse right now. My puppy.
Oh, man, that
So-
sucks, man.
So I have been up since 1:30 this morning. Actually, 1:27. I think it was exactly when I saw the clock.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
from this side of the table,
Yeah.
but we said much like the post office, the show must go on. So, Pop,
Yeah.
what's on your mind for this?
Well,
week?
you know, I hate to keep bringing it up,
Go for it.
but I was watching MLB the other night,
Mhm.
and the owners were doing their crying bit, and that it's costing them too much money for free agency, and
Yep.
they want to come up with this, they want to do that, and then in the next breath they're giving somebody $228 million
Yeah.
to play for. And I'm saying to myself, you need something to keep your mouth shut. Let somebody do your
Yeah.
negotiating for you. Because obviously you can't do it, and you're spending $360-something million on a guy that's only going to be worth maybe a couple of years from now. Then after that, what do you do?
That
And
listen,
it's the
there's a
same
lot
in
of
every sport.
there's a lot.
Football,
Yeah, exactly.
basketball.
I have no sympathy for the owners. I have no sympathy for the players. I don't. When they all complain, I could care less. I'm going to get to it later a little bit more, but this whole. I mean, I think Brandon Nimmo's a good player, the center fielder for the Mets. He's a good player. He just got 8 years, $160-something million. He's a good ball player. Not a great ball player. He's getting $20-something million a year to go play for the Mets. Now, again, a good player, but at what point does it stop? And the problem is, I have no issues if the owners want to spend their money, if the players want to, take those kind of contracts or hold out for. That's everybody's business. The bottom line is the only people who are going to hurt from all of this is us, because if you want to go to a game, it's going to cost you more money. If you want to buy something to eat, it's going to cost you more money. If you want to buy a jersey or memorabilia, you're going to cost you more money. If you're going to park your car, everything associated, and including the TV rights, are going to go up, and we're going to pay for it in our cable. So listen, until we stop watching, until the owners stop paying, until the players stop asking for it, Jeff, I don't see the end of this anywhere in sight ever.
No, but I mean, the one thing that you're saying that you're forgetting is what they signed this guy to now, the deal they signed him to. In a couple of years, he's going to look like a bargain.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And I think that's part of the reason that drives these owners to wrap these players up in these long-term deals, which sounds like astronomical money now. But if the player lives out the contract by year 5 and 6, they're getting him at a discount almost.
Yeah, it's a bargain. You're right.
That's the only thing that I could think of, and why they would want to do what they do.
Yeah, but like you said, Pop, if you're the owners, you can't go on TV now and complain. The Texas Rangers just gave a guy who hasn't really pitched in 2 years a 5-year, $185 million contract. He hasn't pitched in 2 years.
Look at the guy. What's his name? Rodon. I mean, The guy. I looked at his stats. I mean, he seems like a decent pitcher, but this guy's looking to break the bank.
Yeah,
and he's 14-8, and he's almost 3-something on his ERA. And then you say to yourself, they loved it. The owners didn't want the guy that bought the Mets.
Yes.
What's his name? Steve, whatever.
Steve Cohen.
Players wanted him. Mm-hmm. He's already $500 million into the penalty already.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Oh, $500,000. That's $500 million he's paying already in penalties, and he doesn't care because the guy's worth like
$14 billion
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm a player.
Yeah.
I love this guy. I send him flowers.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Every day.
The agents, the Players Association, Jeff, they should be sending him flowers every day. But here's the thing: nothing guarantees you success. I mean, theoretically, I don't think the Mets have gotten better. They've pivoted well, but they haven't gotten better. But Jeff, here's a guy who says, I own a team and I'm not afraid to spend the money.
Yeah, but if you're spending the money and the team isn't getting better, it's staying status quo, what's the point?
But the same thing with Judge.
Yeah.
The Yankees were the same as they were last year and the year before.
Sure.
I mean, unless they go out and get and then what they need is a second baseman, a third baseman, and a left fielder. And until they go out and address that, they didn't improve themselves, and they're going to keep losing.
Well,
and all they're worried about is putting people in the seats. And if you keep going to games and sit in the seats, then shame on you.
Well, the problem is both teams are going to win 90-plus games next year based on the team they have now if everything goes back to the way it was this year. But if we look at the Mets, okay, so they re-signed Nimmo for a lot more money. They lost DeGrom, but for the next 2 years, they got a 40-year-old pitcher who fades at the end of the year. I don't know where the Mets got better. I mean, the Met fans are happy because they lost DeGrom, but yet they got Verlander, who's coming off another Cy Young. But this Met team hasn't gotten better. It stayed the same. So to me, the Mets still have the same problems. They don't have they need a big bat from the right side. They have some fielding issues. I still think there's some questions on their rotation, especially late in the year. And I don't think they've gotten any better. Same with and to your point, Dad, the Yankees haven't gotten any better, but yet both teams have spent an exorbitant amount of money. So
I don't understand it.
No.
And I sit there and it reminds me of the mother yelling at a kid that's 2 years old, trying to yell at him not to do something, and he looks at her and says, "You keep yelling, but you don't do nothing to punish me." Yeah. So I'm going to keep doing it. And the players, if I was a player, I would send candy to what's his name?
Yeah.
Steve
Cohen, yeah.
Yeah. I send him flowers every day. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Course.
Yeah.
You can't control yourself.
Yeah, again, but see, again, it comes down to it's great if you go out and win it. And listen, for years and years and decades, I heard Met fans, the Yankees, they buy their championships. They they never build it. And it's farthest from the truth. I mean, they won 4 championships, maybe 5 with a homegrown talent, being predominant. The Mets haven't done that. And now if the Mets win, they're basically a total store-bought team. So to me, and Met fans, I hear him on the radio all day long. Oh, this is wonderful. Jeff, it's always, shame on you until it's my turn. And then that's the best for everybody. So the Mets buying teams, should be, They'll
always come up with a reason why it's, but that's Met fans. They win championships in April.
Yes.
That's any fan, though, Jeff.
Yeah.
Whether you're a Yankee fan.
No, but Jeff's right. The Met fan, and there's 3 or 4 friends of ours that come on the show or affiliated. And in April, the Mets they won 11 in a row. They won 7 out of 15. And all of a sudden, they're the greatest team. And then come August, right, Jeff? It's same old story.
I know more, like Tommy said, I know several people that come on the show that I know in my personal life that when the Mets start winning in April and early May, and they're like 13-2, 13-3, that this is it. This is the year that they're taking it. They're going to go all the way. This is a team that's going 159-3. They're going to win. They're going to have like 158 game winning streak, and they're going to win everything. They're going to sweep everybody, and then they end up, fucking battling to be 500 come.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable
to get into the playoffs.
It's the truth.
Every year.
But like I said, if the Yankees and the Mets went to spring training and the regular season with the teams they have now, they'll be the likelihood is they'll be as good as they were last year. They'll win 90-something games. They'll both be challenging for the division, if not win their divisions, and then they'll both fall short because they have the same exact problems this year right now that they had last year. So
we'll see what happens. I hope they don't get the pitcher.
I certainly don't want him at that numbers. I think he's the best of what's left, and I think he's pitched well the last couple of years. He's pitched better. I think he's got some ability, but I don't want a 7-8 year deal for $200.
They couldn't be Houston. They were pitching great against Houston. They just couldn't hit.
No,
couldn't hit.
Well, you got to hope that LeMahieu comes back healthy, and they need to go get Benintendi to play left field, and they'll be a better team staying healthy because there's a lot more bats in the line.
You need a third baseman.
Well, again, unless Hal's going to pull a Steve Cohen like Cohen did with Cano and bounce him and eat the $20 million, Josh Donaldson is going to be, is going to be a third baseman next year. I don't see him eating $20-something million.
Yeah, 25.
I just don't see it happening. To me, the best you can hope for is that you trade him, but you're going to have to give up one of your best prospects. So you're going to say you're going to, trade it to a team that's got plenty of money to spend, and they'll take him and probably cut him. But you're going to have to give up a Volpe or Peraza.
No, I would never give away.
I got you, but that's the only way you're going to get rid of him off your team.
Yeah.
I think the likelihood is there's a chance that Torres could go before the season starts. That's the guy I think is going to wind up getting traded. But because
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, guys.
All right,
listen,
Pops.
have a good weekend. I'll talk to you on the weekend.
I'll see you over the weekend, Pops.
Take care. So nice seeing you. Take care, buddy.
All right. Soon, man.
That's my dad. He checks in every week. And again, remember, guys, the holidays are upon us, and there's no better stocking stuffer, Jeff, than the Cushmans.
Yes, sir.
So Jeff's a proud sponsor of the Cushmans. So he's an endorser, not a paid endorser, but
no, not yet.
Not yet. We're headed there.
You never know.
That's right. So if you're,
I got to order some actually.
Yeah, I just actually placed an order for the Audible, which will be delivered tomorrow. So don't order that. I ordered a bunch of bottles.
Well, how many did you get? You don't even have a kid, man.
Huh? Well, I want to give away one or two on the air. I wanted to give one to you, so you can have it for the show. So I ordered a few. I have
one.
The prototype, the original.
Yes, the original.
Yeah, so that'll be worth money someday, Jeff. You got to hold on to that.
I should sign that and hold on to it.
There you go. But yes, guys, if you're looking for your stocking stuffer or some gifts for the family, and Edna, who seems to be very popular on our show, make sure you reach out to the Hemp Wizard boys at hempwizard.net and order from their great catalog of beard care and skincare products. My wife loves the strawberry switchblade skin lotion. Jeff is a big fan of the Cushmans, and of course the newest line, the newest scent out there from the boys, the Audible, which was helped developed and named by our own Jeff Tolwensky. Please feel free to buy lots and lots. It's a very reasonable price, and get it. And you'll get, if you order right now with code 20 off, you'll get it in time for the holidays, right, Jeff?
Yeah, I believe so. I think they have up until like the 20th or 21st or something.
Yep, I believe you're right.
They're pretty and they're good with delivery too.
Oh, they're fantastic. I placed an order early this week, and I'm getting it tomorrow. So, in the middle of holidays and everything else, you can't beat that. So please support our dear friends, Mike Cassano, Joe Cassano, Mike Weissman at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Company, and buy their great line of beard care and skincare products, which are sponsored here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. Jeff, we got to get you in the holiday spirit. I watched last night before. My wife went to bed a little early. She had to go to work, and I wasn't sleepy yet, so I went in and I watched The Year Without a Santa Claus.
Oh, nice.
Was a lot of fun to watch the Heat Miser and the Snow Miser and the boys. So that was a lot of fun. I watched about half of the original Miracle on 34th Street with Sir Edmund Gwenn. So I'm going to get through the rest of that. That's one of my, if not my favorite, it's probably right there. And over the next week and change, I will be certainly watching a whole bunch of shows. I mean, have you sat down and watched any of the classics?
I watched Charlie Brown. I watched some of Rudolph. I love Charlie Brown.
I know you do.
So that I watch a lot, and those get me in the mood. I sent you something.
I just saw it, but you're gonna have to let it go. You're gonna have to get in the spirit, because it only comes once a year, and we're about to lose it. You got to get yourself into the mix. We got the big Christmas show next Thursday night. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have a bunch of laughs. I'm working on the official Elf on the Shelf to be part of the show.
Really?
He's in a love relationship now, but we might be able to get him anyway.
The half man on the half shelf.
Man on the half shelf, yes. We're working on the half man for next week. So we got we're going to try to have a lot of fun. I'll see if I get some guests on. I got some feelers out. I haven't got any returns, but We got to get you in the mood because we only get Christmas once a year, my friend. And when it goes, you're going to be upset. So come on now, let's get in the mood.
Tell you
Let's
the
have
truth,
some laughs.
I went walking last night for a little bit.
Yep.
And, I walked through the neighborhood and I listened to my go-to Christmas music.
Oh, good.
Which is Charlie Brown.
Okay.
Love that. And yeah, you know, it helped a little bit without a doubt. I was really pissed off yesterday. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm afraid I'm going to go to jail for the holiday.
Well, let's
in the prison.
We got to get you in the mood. It's only, like I said, it comes once a year. Tomorrow I'm going to make a stop in Midtown, do a little quick walk through some of the festive stuff. Of course, I'll have my bulletproof vest and flak jackets on, and I might even be strapping at that point, Jeff. I'm not sure, but I will be making a trek through Midtown Manhattan.
We were supposed to go tomorrow night to go see the tree, but between Sharon getting sick and the weather, we had to.
You postponed it or you canceled?
I don't know what the story is, to tell you the truth.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I know that's an annual rite of passage. You guys make that trek every year with the guild.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen this year.
Well,
that we get there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, I hope you guys try to squeeze it in next week, and of course, we have to push the holiday jam to get together with the boys. And also, don't forget, guys, if you're in the area, Juicy Lucy is closing. Some controversy around that, I believe, but we'll stay out of that whole thing. But I will say that the last night, I believe, is Christmas. If it's not New Year's Eve, it's the 30th. Is it the 30th? That's the last night?
31st.
31st is, okay. Gotcha. Oh, boy. And but on the 30th, Jeff and his band, I meant to ask you, is the Remorons a one-off thing? Has it been decided, or is this a long-term thing?
I don't know what's going to happen with that, to tell you the truth. One moment it looks like it's going to be long-term. Then you can't get people to commit to practice. Then you're in the midst of having a conversation, and there'll be 17 text messages going back and forth. Then all of a sudden it just stops.
Oh, boy.
And somebody answers a random text at like fucking 4 a.m. It's just like, gotta be fucking kidding me.
Well, listen, I hope for the best. I know everybody's going to go down to Juicy Lucy on December 30th. What time do you guys go on? Do you know yet?
I was told 10:40.
Oof. Okay, 10:40.
I don't know if that's still the plan.
Gotcha. See if you can nail that down so we can do it, and I can also make a plan too because I really want to come. I'm just trying to figure out how I go all the way home and come all the way back and not fall asleep in between. But
you want to show up, man? You're more than welcome to come to our house and stay there.
It's also very possible to do that. So I kind of have to play it out and see.
I could throw you in the basement, let you fucking nap a little bit.
I think if I go to sleep, I ain't getting up. So we'll see. I know that Father Bob's planning to go. If Father Bob's going, probably means Paul's coming, I would imagine. I'm sure if we send out the bat signal, if we send out the bat signal, we could probably get a couple others, Jimmy and some others, to pop in. So let's see if we could put together a pre-jam get together at Juicy Lucy to watch the Remorons play. So
here's hoping, man.
That's it. By the way, Leonard Anthony's in the house, and Leonard, I want to congratulate. He had a nice little surprise. He was invited to the Dina Martin sound check down in Atlantic City, and then actually got pulled up on stage to do a little singing. And I got to see some of the pictures and video. So congratulations to Leonard, who we all know has a great voice and is a huge Dina Martin fan. And good for him. He got pulled up on stage. And I got to sing a tune or two, if my memory serves, with Miss Martin. So congratulations, Leonard. And when you get a chance, put that out for everybody to see. Yes, if that's what you're talking about, yes. But Leonard, good for you. Congrats. And let's move on to some football. We did a little baseball. We'll come back to some maybe more later on. But Jeff, I want to get to the Jets and the Giants. We got a lot of football to get to right now. The playoffs are coming. It's still a mad scramble. Do you know that there's not one team in the NFC who is eliminated at this point?
They're all in it? Are you serious?
Everybody, right down to the Rams, are technically now the Rams are 5-8. Are they going to make the playoffs? No, but technically, the 6th and 7th place NFC teams only have 7 wins. So theoretically, if the Rams were to go on a run here, and those 2 teams, and amongst the teams, the Saints are 4-9, the Cardinals are 4-9, the Falcons are 5-8, the Carolina Panthers are 5-8, Packers 5-8, and the Lions 6-7. Jeff, everybody's still in it.
Jesus Christ! Could you imagine one of those teams?
Anything's possible, my brother.
Yeah, man. Wow.
I'm going to give you this. I have the top 4 I got the top 4 teams on the bubble on each side, and their records. We'll go through that. But and then on the AFC side, only 3 teams I'm sorry, there is one NFC team eliminated. That is Chicago Bears. There are 2 AFC teams and 1 NFC team eliminated. The Bears are eliminated, as well as the Houston Texans and the Denver Broncos. Those are only 3 teams in the entire NFL. So out of 32 teams, we have 29 still in the mix.
Wow.
So, yep. Buckle up, Buttercup. There's still lots to talk about. So, Jeff, let's talk a little about the Jets and the Giants. So, both teams were losers this week. The Jets up in Buffalo in some frigid, cold weather, but they hung in there. They just kind of fell a little short. Their quarterback took a beating, and I'll give the guy credit. Not only did he get back up, he got back up twice, and he finished the game. There is some talk about him not playing this week, but I think all indications are he'll be back. Have you changed your mind at all about Mr. Mike White?
Oh, it's hard to say because they've been competitive all year. They've never really been blown out of any game yet this year.
No.
They've been competitive, whoever the quarterback is. Mike White seems to put up the best numbers of any quarterback.
Right.
And, I mean, do I think Zach Wilson is the answer? No. I don't think he's the answer.
Okay.
I don't, but I don't know if Mike White is the answer either.
I don't know, but I think at this point, for where they're up to, I think he's the answer right now. The long term, I think the Jets are in a really bad spot right now, Jeff, and I'll tell you why. They're in a good spot, obviously, because they have a lot of talent. They're playing well, especially defensively. There's some talent on the offense. I mean, where did this kid Bam Knight come from? You still got Breece Hall, who's not even playing right now. Probably won't be back till sometime next year. And offensively, I mean, there seems to be a resurgence in the receiving corps, especially Garrett Wilson. The quandary that this team has is they're still looking to get Zach Wilson back on the field and playing again. And I think that's a bad thing for the locker room, because I think the locker room is all about Mike White.
At this point, yeah, man, you got a lot, going on that when you're 100% right. The guy is, he's doing what he has to do, Mike White.
Yeah.
And he's keeping him competitive, and he's throwing for some yards. He's definitely keeping him in. I mean, even the Buffalo game, up until the fumble at the end, they were on the move. Yeah. I'm not going to say they were going to win the game, but they definitely were giving themselves a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And, listen, this is a team that is getting, when you asked if they show any growth or are they going in the right direction, without a doubt, they're definitely showing that they're going in the right way. Are they going to continue? I'm hoping so, but, something has to be done about quarterback. And, is Mike White the answer? Like I said, I don't know. I think he's more of an answer at this point in time than Zach Wilson.
Well, but let me ask you this question. So let's say for the sake of it, let's say Mike White goes out there this week, gives it an effort, got some bad ribs. Let's say he goes out there and takes a couple hits, can't finish the game. The Jets go on and lose, and Zach Wilson, who's now been elevated again to number 2 quarterback, goes in there and plays reasonably well. Not great, not terrible, reasonably well. The following week, both guys are healthy. Who starts at quarterback?
Oh, man. I have a feeling, I said it all along, that I think that Zach Wilson's going to be back for the Jaguar game.
You did, and I agree with you, and I'll tell you why. The Jets have to figure out now, is he the guy next year? Because You can't go into camp next year with a quarterback controversy. I don't think you can go into camp with him as your number 2 quarterback behind Mike White, and then you have to decide if you're going to pay Mike White you're now you're going to have 2 quarterbacks on your roster making money.
Well, I don't think Zach Wilson is he. What is he
He's
making?
got a rookie contract. He's still got the rookie contract, so he's probably getting $8-10 million for the year.
Yeah, I don't think that he's not the one, man. He's not the one.
Right. So if you were GM, would you shop him in the offseason? Do you go after do you build around Mike White? Do you draft another quarterback? Waste a pick almost if White is your quarterback? Do you bring in another veteran guy, a Garoppolo type? How do you fix it if you're Joe Douglas?
I just don't think that Zach Wilson is the answer. That's one thing. What do you do with Zach Wilson? If he's not the answer, he's got to go.
Correct. You can't have him on the roster next year.
Shadow can't be on the team someplace. It can't be.
Nope, I agree with you. Either he's on the roster starting or he's not on the roster.
Yeah. Get him off the roster somewhere, whatever. Put him behind bury him on the depth chart, release him, whatever it is you got to do.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go with Mike White, you got to be 100% in.
Yeah.
And, maybe Garoppolo, is he too high profile? I don't know.
Funny, yeah, I think he is. I think it's like this. I think if you think Zach Wilson's the guy, you got to trade Mike White because honestly, truly, there'll be no higher value for the guy. Right now, think about it. If people believe in him, you could probably get at least a 3. Maybe you could get a 2, or maybe you can get something better for a guy like that everybody thinks is the man. If you let him hang around, his value decreases. And to have him on the roster with Zach Wilson next year is a recipe for disaster because the minute Zach Wilson does something wrong, the fans, the players are all going to be looking for Mike White.
Well, let me ask, what do you do if you have Mike White starting and then he has a couple bad games in a row? Or is anybody going to be yelling for Zach Wilson to come back in?
Yeah.
That I don't see, and I don't think that he inspires anything for the fan base, to be honest with you.
No, I think his time here is done. I think the best thing the Jets can do is move him, give him an opportunity to go someplace else, and I don't want to say revive his career because that would be unfair, but continue his career maybe with a better situation. Maybe he winds up in, New Orleans, or maybe winds up in Tampa, a place where, he's officially the guy and they let him breathe. But right now, if you're going with Mike White next year, if Mike White is the Jets starting quarterback, Zach Wilson cannot be on this roster. It's impossible.
I have to agree. I think that they're better off with going with Mike White, making it his team. He's getting more out of Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, even the other guys with more
back, that offense is going to be good. I don't know if you're going to say they're going to be as good as the defense. The defense is unbelievable.
Well, hold it right there. I want to transition to something before the season started, I think you especially were a guy who was not down on them, but didn't give them much. You probably had them at a 4 or 5 win season. The expectations have changed. The Jets have gone from, maybe they could do something to they have to do something. It's almost like the expectation has swung so much that it's not fair to think that the Jets would, if they don't make the playoffs, if they don't win a game in the playoffs, that this is actually going to now turning into a disappointing season. Jeff, what has changed from the preseason to now in expectations?
The Jets drafted a good draft class that helped them a lot. That they're ahead of the curve. They're definitely doing way better than anybody thought. I mean, this was a team at one point, people said that they were going to get the first pick in the draft. Yeah. Now they're picking somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 in the draft. This is a team that is slowly starting to come together and grow as one. And the thing is we, as a Jet fan, we haven't had a team like this in years. And a team that's young and growing together. That Quinnen Williams is a beast.
Yes,
he may be one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL.
I'd say top three.
Aaron Donald. at this point in time.
I would tell you he would easily be top 3 for me. It could be top 2. Yeah, he could be right behind Aaron Donald in the way Aaron Donald's playing this year. Quinnen Williams is right there. I mean, there's some good ones out there. I mean, the Giants have one in Dexter Lawrence. There's a few of them out there. But, yeah, I think Quinnen Williams, now he's hurt. He's week to week at this point.
Yeah.
But, that's a guy who has slowly built himself into a guy who probably in a year or two could easily be considered the best defensive lineman in football. Easily.
I think so. I think so. If the Jets make the playoffs and he has a good run, he may win that title now.
It's possible. I won't argue again.
Possibly the best defensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. It's very possible.
I would tell you that I tell you the truth, I would think they would have had a better shot had Breece Hall stayed healthy. I think they could have easily won both of those things. I'm not sure where Gardner is at this point. He's been quiet the last few weeks. Not necessarily the best, but the Jet defense on a whole and the secondary have been great. And that's the biggest thing for the turnaround. I don't think anybody realized that they would go from 31st in the league last year to top 10 right now. And they might be even top 5.
I believe they're 10th.
Yeah. So this is a defense that is really good, and I think the biggest change is now the offense is no longer, I mean, you think about the offense that played against the Patriots twice, that couldn't put any points on the board, that was inept. This is an offense now that actually can scare you a little bit and puts up enough points that the defense makes sense. I haven't bought into the Mike White thing yet. I think that eventually a guy like that gets found out a little bit, but I could be dead wrong. And he could be the guy, and he could be a really good game manager and a little bit more. And really, that's all they need.
With that defense, yeah. Yeah.
I still think they're, I don't think they're as good as Kansas City. I don't think they're as good as Buffalo, which, I know they beat them, but I still don't think they're in that category yet. But, other than that, the Patriots, the Dolphins, Bengals, Titans, Ravens, to me, the Jets could go out and beat any one of those teams. They could lose to any one of those teams, but they could beat any one of those teams. So
who was it? They beat Buffalo once, and they came. I'm not going to say they came close to beating them a second time because they didn't.
Nope.
They were heading in the direction of keeping it competitive to the last couple of minutes.
Yep.
So, it wasn't a team that just turned around and caved in and failed.
Nope. This is a big week for the Jets. One, if you're the Jets, you need Miami to lose to Buffalo in Buffalo, which is very possible. All right. That brings it closer because the Jets get to play Miami down the road.
Yeah, their last game of the season.
Yeah. But the Jets have if I told you before the season, right, that week 15 Jets Lions was going to be an exciting football game, you would have had me committed. Yet that is one of the premier games of the week.
Yeah, it is. Pretty amazing, isn't
it? The Lions have won, I think, 3 or 4 straight. They're 6-7. They're in the playoff mix. They come in with a high-powered, I can't believe I'm saying a high-powered offense, a shaky defense, and they come into MetLife Stadium to play a Jet team. Again, a little banged up. Maybe no Quinnen Williams. Who knows how good Mike White's going to be, how long he's going to last, But this is a game that if I would told you, before the season, you'd say, Tom, that day, week 15, I'll be at the mall shopping for Christmas. Let me know how the Jets wind up. Now, this is a premier game to watch this week. This could easily have been the game flexed to the night game instead of the Giants and the Redskins. And that's a good football game. We'll get to that in a minute. But, this is at least fun if you're a Jet fan. And listen, they're number 9 right now. They're on the fringe of not making the playoffs. This is an absolute must win. And we're going to go through the records of the rest of the teams and what games they have left. But this is a must win for the Jets. You can't lose at home to the Lions right now.
So you should be able to beat the Lions. They should be able to take on the Jaguars. They're going to have to win maybe 3 of their last 4.
And
playoffs.
Yeah, and they got the Lions, they got the Jaguars, and then they're on the road the last 2 weeks, Chef. Now, in Seattle against another playoff team that's out there in the hunt. In Seattle, which is not an easy place to play. And then they finish up at Miami for a game that Miami's probably going to need to have. So there's some good football to be played. The Jets, you're right. I think they're probably going to have to win 3 out of 4 to put themselves on the brink. But we're going to go through everybody's records, see how they wind up, and let's see where we think it's going to land. All right. But again, right now, if you're a Jet fan, and again, Hard Rocket Sports, I'm Tom, that's Jeff, and we're here every Thursday night having some fun breaking down the NFL. We got a lot to get to. We got some music talk, some Christmas talk. We got a lot of stuff going. We're going to go as long as we possibly can. I see Jeff's a little tired tonight, and I'm battling, but we're going to hang in there as long as we can. So stick around.
Fuck, man. Holy shit.
I got you. So some good games. Let's go over to the Giants. Another big game. Giants Redskins Sunday night. This is an absolute must-win if you're the Giants. The Giants rest of the way, Jeff, get let's see. They're at Minnesota, 10-3 team at this moment, versus the Colts at home, and then on the road to complete the season with the Eagles. Now, that could be a game that the Eagles don't care about. They may be out of it. They may play their starters for a half. The Giants have a shot, maybe. But this game right here, you lose this, I don't care what happens to the other teams. If they all lose, Seattle plays tonight against the 49ers. There's a good chance they'll lose that game. The Lions could lose to the Jets. That would help the Giants if they were to lose. But if you're the Giants, you have to go in and win this game. Just to stop the bleeding. Let's say you go out and win this week. You lose to the Vikings on the road, tough game on the road, and then you go in, you beat the Colts, and maybe you steal one, for a game that the Eagles don't care about at the end of the season. The Giants could wind up with, 9 or 10 wins. If they were to win one more out of these 4 and sneak into the playoffs, it's still a playoffs, but it won't have the same feel for me.
Yeah, well, listen, them just getting in the playoffs is an accomplishment, but what if they've lost like 3 of their last 4 or something?
I think they're 1-3-1 in their last 5 games.
And I mean, they got blown out against Philly, right? What was it, like 35-7 or something like that?
48-22, and it wasn't that close.
48-22.
Wasn't that close. They had some moments. They could have turned that game around, Jeff. But they made too many stupid plays.
Well, my back is bothering me.
Sure.
They seem as though that they're just too one-dimensional run game. They have no receivers.
Yep.
So, Daniel Jones isn't able to do anything through the air. And if they stop Barkley and they stop the run game, you're pretty much stopping them. So, you have to think what can they do to open up the field, stretch the field for themselves. And right now, I mean, their offensive, their receivers, it's hard. I can't believe it. Even Kadarius Toney, who went over to the Chiefs, is still doing horrible. I don't even think he got to play that much.
No, he played that first game, and I think he's been, again, more and more nagging hamstring issues. I don't think that guy ever wants to play football. I think he just wants to say he's in the NFL to help his rap career.
Listen, I think, wasn't he a first-round pick?
Yeah, number 20. Yeah, number 20 overall.
I don't think he's going to have to worry about that. I think he better hope his rap career takes off, because I think he's going to end up getting cut anyway because he sucks.
Yeah. Now, again, see, I hear a lot of Giant fans all day talking on the radio, Jeff, and they're all saying that, before the season, if you told me they were playing meaningful games, I'd have been thrilled. Now that they had the first half that they had, now, if they don't make the playoffs, I'm going to be disappointed. And I'll tell you, as a Giant fan, somebody who's been a Giant fan his whole life, if the Giants don't make the playoffs, if they don't win another game the rest of the year, the Giants are a step ahead of where I thought they were going to be. I wasn't sure what to expect. New coaching staff, no receivers, or the same receiver corps that we had last year that didn't do much. I wasn't expecting much out of this team. So yeah, I got caught up in the Giants are going to be really good. They'll win 12 games, 11 games, and that hasn't come. But if you look at this roster and think about, to me, I don't care what anybody tells me, the Brian Daboll should be coach of the year. That what he's done with this team to make them competitive and have them in a position where, week 15, they're number 7 with 7 wins. Brian Daboll is that because this roster does not have a ton of talent on it.
No, you know what? Maybe not, but it's if they play up to the ability that that they think they have. Like Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, I still don't think that he's an NFL a quarterback for an NFL team, a number one. I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
The guy doesn't. True, doesn't have much of a receiving core this year, but what has he got? 10, 11 touchdowns?
Something like that. Yeah, I think he's got 11 or 12 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
All right. So he hasn't been turning the ball over as much, but he hasn't been throwing receivers. Yeah, I understand that. But
yeah, I mean, Jeff, you understand, if you watch, and I watch every play of every game. I think the Eagle game was the first time I didn't watch the second half of a Giant game. I went out and I just never watched it. I never went back to it. But I would tell you, he's a legitimate NFL quarterback. Is he ever going to be a top 10 quarterback, an elite quarterback? I don't know. He's better than a lot of the second class citizens. He's very athletic. He runs the ball well, and he throws the ball well. He's accurate. The problem is he either hits them in the hands and they drop it, they don't get open, or the middle of his offensive line has just been folding like a cheap suit, and he turns around, hits his fifth step, and is all over him. I disagree with you. I think Daniel Jones is a legit NFL quarterback. I don't know if he's a guy who you're going to look up and say he had an Eli Manning career, or I try to come up with somebody that would be somebody we could say was a good quarterback, but not a next level. But Daniel Jones is a legit quarterback. It's a question of do the Giants think he works for them? I think he will be back next year on a reasonable contract, because their options are going to be limited.
Oh, their options are limited now.
Yeah. So I think this is a team that's going to spend their draft capital and their free agent money on cornerbacks and receivers. That's where the Giants are going to go next year. And I think that as far as quarterbacks go, unless you tell me it's somebody better, Daniel Jones is going to get like a 3-year, one guaranteed, small signing bonus, $20 million a year contract from the Giants. And they'll say, go prove me wrong, and we'll renegotiate it. And they're going to give him better talent, and I think he'll be fine. Again, to what level, I'm not sure. But, I disagree with you. I think the guy's got some ability. He's great athletically. And he's been the most consistent Giant all year. He's been the guy he's whatever he could do, he's carried him on his back. And he's played his ass off. He stayed healthy. And all the things that people said that he had to do, Jeff, you've been a big critic. He fumbles. He turns the ball over too much. He's always hurt. And he's gotten past both of those this year.
Well, so far, yeah. Even Barkley hasn't hurt.
His production's waned the last few weeks, too. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I mean, Saquon was the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. And I do think that he's gotten worn down because they've gone with Brightwell a couple times and Matt Breida and Matt Breida. And, they'll have big bursts and they'll be getting 15, 16 yards. And he seems to be tap dancing. And I think he's hurting a little bit. He might not be saying it. He'll be back next year, probably franchised at a reasonable rate. So he'll be back. But, this Giant team is exceeding expectations for me. And like I said, if they win one more game and just miss the playoffs, I will tell you, I'm still happy. This team is they're not the Jets. The Jets are way ahead of schedule. Would you agree?
Of course, they're ahead of schedule.
Right. I think the Giants are ahead of schedule, but they're not way ahead of schedule. There's a lot of room for the Giants to improve. Where the Jets, a tweak here or there. Tell you what, next year I wouldn't want to play the Jets next year.
No, I got to agree with you. The Jets are going to be a great team next year. That's if their offense plays up to their defense.
Correct.
And their defense continues to stay hot.
I mean, listen, they can use a little bit of help on the defense, especially at linebacker. I mean, I do like Quincy Williams. I think he's had a great year. CJ Mosley, other than the bad penalty, people laughed it off, especially watching the game. Did you see the offside penalty he had that kept the drive alive for Buffalo and went down and scored a touchdown? Okay, so there was a point in the game. It was late first half. The Bills were driving. It was 4th and 3. And the Bills were going to basically try to draw the Jets offside. And if they didn't, they would take the 5-yard penalty and punt. Well, CJ Mosley they ran this weird play where Allen's in the shotgun, the tight end goes in motion, and when he gets behind the center, stops like he's going to take the snap. But you could tell he was never going to take the snap. That would have been the stupidest play in the world. And Mosley at that moment jumps over the line and tackles the guy. They get the automatic first down now, and they go down and score the touchdown and take the lead, which they never relinquished. And, the Jets were smiling. He was laughing. And I was like, you know what? That's a big play. If you're the Jets and you get out ahead of Buffalo after you just beat them, that's demoralizing. It's bad weather. You're a defensive team. It's a whole different game. And I thought it was a bad job by Mosley. I thought it was a bad job by everybody to kind of minimize it. But otherwise, he's had a really great season and really has shown that signing was a good one.
The Mosley signing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's been a great player. Just they spent a lot of money on him.
And he was hurt for the first year, though, right?
So, what happened was his first year, he got hurt after the first or second game, and then COVID happened, and then he's been playing up to expectations. But I mean, next year, what happens next year? I believe that this is his last year, or next year is not guaranteed. So they're talking about maybe bringing him back at a discount.
Sure.
All this money. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. But I wouldn't want to see him just get dumped and that's it.
I couldn't agree with you more. So it's listen, for Jets, Giants, they're both playing big games this week. Of course, you got tonight's Seattle and 49 game. That's a really big game for the NFC, especially for the Giants. Dolphins, Bills on Sunday. We got to forget this week, that's Saturday. There's 3 Saturday games this week. So you got Saturday games, you got Sunday games. Boy, if you like your football, it starts to get really fun the last few weeks of the season.
Yeah, it's just this week, though, where there's a lot of games.
Yeah, and then you got Chargers and the Bengals. Chargers, Titans, Bengals, Bucks. There's a lot of really meaningful football games this week, folks. So a lot of things are going to start to get decided this week and the following week. So let's everybody pay attention to it. We're gonna run through real quick. I want to run through the 4 teams that are basically making up the AFC, Jeff. I'm going to give you the teams and who they're playing the rest of the year. Maybe you can give me your thoughts on wins and losses, and we can see who's coming out wins ahead of this.
All right, man.
You ready? Okay, so the 8-5 Dolphins, who played okay. Again, I think they're a little ahead of expectations. I don't think anybody expected Tua to be as good as he's playing this year.
He definitely has been playing pretty good, hasn't he?
Yeah, so they're 8-5 this week, Jeff. They're at the Bills in probably bad weather. Are you giving them a win or a loss?
Dolphins, I'm going to go loss.
Yeah, I agree with that. The following week, they're home versus the 5-8 currently Packers.
I would have to say Dolphins.
Yep, I'm going to win there as well. Another interesting matchup. They're at the Patriots in the week before the end of the second to last week of the season. Probably playoff implications for both teams. Where do you go with this one?
Dolphins.
Okay, you're giving them win. I think I like the Patriots in that one, but I'm going to leave yours up there. And then finally in week 17, the Jets, they're at home versus the Jets. Again, could be a very meaningful playoff implication game.
I think the Jets.
Okay, so you're giving them a loss. So the Dolphins, in your opinion, are going to wind up at 10-7.
No, that's about right.
Okay, so let's move on to the Chargers. The Chargers currently, Jeff, have the 8th seed. They're on the bubble at 7-6. They're on the outside looking in. So I would think if the Dolphins get to 10 wins, they're almost definitely going to get a playoff, because that would mean the Jets, the Chargers, and the Patriots, at least 2 of them would have to wind up with 3 out of 4 wins. Let's see if we get them there. Jeff, the Chargers at 7-6 currently. This week they are home versus the Titans.
I think they're going to win.
Okay, Jeff. They're at the following week. They're at the Colts.
Win.
Okay. The following week they're home versus the Rams.
I got to say a win.
And they end the season at the Denver Broncos.
Right now, with that, they could either go. They could be 3-1, 4-0.
All right, so let's give them a loss there, just to make it interesting. Okay, so I would say going 3-1 along the way would be a huge thing. Again, now you're talking about two teams with 10 wins heading into the playoffs. Interesting. Would probably get them now. We get down to the Jets. Jeff, the Jets this week at home versus the Lions.
I think they could win.
Again, last home game of the season versus the Jaguars.
A win.
Okay, here's your two tough ones now. You've already given them the win against Miami, so that's 3 wins. Can they go on the road at Seattle and win?
I think they can. I think that defense is going to contain Geno Smith.
Okay, so you're going to give the Jets 11 wins for the season. The Jets going 11-6, sweeping the last 4 games. I think it's a little much, but if that would be the case, they would actually become the number 6 seed in there and make the playoffs.
I don't think that there's no reason why they can't win those 4.
All right. Well, there's one more team, and they hold the tiebreaker because they beat the Jets twice, and that would be your much-hated New England Patriots.
Yeah, I fucking hate them.
Okay, so right now the Patriots are 7-6, 3rd in the AFC East. It's funny, the Jets are probably, if not the second best team, right up there, and yet they're in 4th place in the AFC East. Really strange year, strange.
Yeah.
Jeff, this week the Patriots go on the road and face the 5-8 Raiders.
I think the Raiders have been turning on a little bit. So and Patriots have a little problem. They're not playing that well, so I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Okay. The following week they are home to the Patriots are home to the Bengals.
I got to go with the Bengals.
Okay, so you got 2 losses. You've already given the Dolphins a win in this game, so I'm going to give the Dolphins, the Patriots, another loss. They've lost 3, and they wind up on the road against the Bills to finish the season.
I don't think that they could match up against the Bills. I think they lose all 4.
Okay, so if you're correct, all right, the Jets would win 11-6 and get the 6th seed. And then it would come down to the Chargers and the Bills both being 10-7. I don't know who has the tiebreaker. I want to say it's going to be the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins won the head-to-head this year, if I'm not mistaken. So by your standards, the Jets are in at 6 and the Dolphins are in at 7, and that would be your playoff tree.
Yeah, I can see the Jets getting there. I really can.
All right. I won't argue. I think it's a matter of the offense showing up each week, and so far, so good. I don't see the thing. I agree with you. I don't see an unwinnable game. I think there's a couple. I think this week's a tough game. I also think that going on the road to Seattle in the midst of all of that is another tough game for them, and a game that the Seattle Seahawks are going to have to try to find a way to win. So 2 tough ones. I'll be rooting for the Jets because I need Seattle to keep losing so the Giants can slip in. But let's get to the NFC, Jeff, for a few minutes. You mind?
No, go ahead, of course.
Okay, so Jeff, I'm going to leave the Giants to last.
Let me just run in the other room. I got to get a drink real quick.
Go ahead. So Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom here on a Thursday night, celebrating a little bit of the holidays, and of course, running through the NFL schedule. When after we finish the NFL, we'll move on to some miscellaneous stuff. So stick around. We still got a lot to talk about, and we're happy to have you with us on a Thursday night. Drinking a little water myself. Again, I hope you guys are having a great holiday and you're enjoying yourselves out there. Please be safe when you travel. Bad weather, there's a lot of crazies on the road. So we're happy to have you. And again, remember our dear friends at Hemp Wizard Beard Care Co. That's right, Cushmint's. That's right, the Cushmint's. And of course, the new scent, the Audible, is out on the shelf. So make sure you visit hempwizard.net for all their great line of beard care products. And of course, skin care products. My wife's a big fan of the strawberry switchblade, I think it's called. She uses it regularly. In fact, I should have ordered some when I made my order this week, but I'll get it before the holiday maybe, or I will right after the holiday, one or the other. So, guys, support the local businesses and make sure you reach out to the guys at Hemp Wizard for your holiday gift-giving needs. So, again, guys, I hope you guys have had a good week. We got a couple more. We got maybe another half hour, 45 minutes. Tonight's show. We'll end it a little early because I know Jeff's exhausted and I'm feeling it. But we still got some topics, so let's finish the NFL. We'll run through some miscellaneous stuff, and then we'll call it a night and get ready for next week. I got up a little. What is this one? This is not Bronx Tale, which is Goodfellas. Goodfellas is on the screen. I can't watch it because De Niro's in it. I got to shut it off. Rob De Niro's in a movie. I got to get it off the screen. Sorry, guys. Give me a second.
Oh, I got to ask you something, man.
Sure, go ahead.
I don't know if you're aware of this because I just heard you say about Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Your boy, Donnie Trump there.
Yeah.
Do you know what he's doing, this jerk off?
At any minute of any day, probably not. What's he doing?
He's selling these digital cards of himself.
Okay.
Have you seen that?
No, I've not seen this.
You got to look.
Okay.
At the Post, he had this big announcement, and he's dressed like Superman, busting out of his suit. And he has these digital cards of himself that he's selling. And some of them they're like along the line of baseball cards. There's a name for them that other people were selling them, and basically they ended up giving up on them because they weren't making them any money. They were a waste, and they were proven a waste. And he's selling them. One, he's an astronaut. One, he's a cowboy or something. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck is wrong? Are you like purposely trying to get knocked out of the race before it even happens? Because you're doing all you can to definitely not make yourself,
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. I don't understand these people. I don't. I just don't.
I don't know either, Jeff. I did not see it. I'll have to look it up. I did not see the news section of the Post today. I only got to check the back pages, the sports, because we were doing the show.
This was later on. Yesterday they showed it. The announcement was made that be ready. Here it comes, and then today here he is selling $99 a pop or $300 a pop, whatever it was. And I was like, you have to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'll have to look it up. I'll make sure I get it on the air for next week. We'll have some fun with it. But
I know there's people that are banking on him to do something, but I don't know.
I think it's like this. Listen, I think if you're a conservative, there's no way in the world you can vote for Joe Biden or really anybody on the Dems right now. They've proven themselves. So I think. But I do think that a lot of conservatives, including myself, would not mind seeing Ron DeSantis as the lead guy. I love Trump. Don't get me wrong. I think he had his moments. I think, a 77, 70-year-old Trump running for office, while the guy still completely, got it at this moment. I do see some chinks in the armor, as they call it.
Yeah.
And this may be one of them.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there.
Yeah. So, but if he's the guy standing for the Republicans and Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or Pete Buttigieg or, God forbid, Bernie Sanders are the candidates on the other side, you couldn't get me to pull. I'd pull the trigger for you at this point.
If Bernie Sanders is still out there trying to run, then please.
Yeah.
Like over 80, isn't he?
If he's not, he's right there. I think he is over 80 at this point. I want to say he's at 81 or 82, but don't quote me on that one. I don't know. But
even than that, I thought he was like 83, 84.
Hold on. I can tell you in a second if you want me to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
81.
Okay, so he's 81 now, which means by the time he runs for and gets into office, 24.
84.
Yeah, so I mean, listen, I wouldn't vote. Forget about his age. His politics scare the crap out of me. Anybody who honeymoons in Russia, I gotta question their sanity. So but on top of that, his politics just scare the crap out of me. What's up, Dig? So yeah, again, I think deep down, I'd love to see Ron DeSantis run. But and I love Trump. It's my guy, but. I'm a little down on it right now, but again, whoever the Republicans stand up there to be the candidate, I'm voting for. I'm not voting for a Democrat. Just can't do it.
No, I don't think that anybody should, man. I really don't. But I think that you have to watch who's being thrown out in the front of the race here.
Oh, I know, 100%. Listen, I'm not arguing that point. Like I said, if I think right now, if I was going into the booth to pull the lever, and Trump and DeSantis were my candidates, I'd be pulling for DeSantis.
Yeah.
So, but again, if my candidates are Democrat and Donald Trump, it's going to be Trump again. I'd rather that. So, with the state of things the way they are now, I'm sorry, I just won't pull the trigger for those guys. Won't pull the lever, I should say, for those guys.
I wouldn't blame you.
So, but it is what it is. So Jeff, let's get back to some football. I want to run through the NFC with you. The top, what they call the top 4 teams to make the last 2 spots, and let's get your thoughts on who makes the playoffs and who doesn't. Ready?
Yep.
So we got the Lions this week at 5-7, playing the 6-7. The Jets, you've already given them a loss to the Jets, so I'm going to leave it that way. The following week, Jeff, they are at the Panthers.
I think a win.
The following week, they are home to the Bears.
A win.
And then the Packers will end up their season the Lions will finish up their season at the Packers.
I think they could sweep the Packers.
Okay, so if things go the way you say, the Lions will wind up 9-8.
Yeah, that's possible.
All right, let's move on. We got the Seattle Seahawks, who are a surprising 7-6 team. I thought they were going to tank it this year, the way they were, getting rid of guys. But now that you look up, you understand why they got rid of Russell Wilson. It wasn't the tank; it was they tried to get better without him. So, but Jeff, the Seattle Seahawks tonight play the San Francisco 49ers with new quarterback Brock Purdy.
I think they're going to lose.
I would agree with that. I think. That 49 defense may be the best defense in football. Boy, it would be close with them, the Jets, a couple other teams, but they might have the best defense in football right now.
Well, listen, you have to have it with Geno Smith because you just never know when he's going to implode.
Sure, absolutely, and he's not been the same guy as he was in the first half. So, so right now. We were giving them a loss tonight. Then they come back and they face the Chiefs at home at the Chiefs.
I think that's going to be a loss.
And so you've already given them a loss to the Jets. So we'll leave it that way. And you got they finished the season at home versus the Rams.
I think they'll win.
Okay, so if things hold true, they will wind up at 8-9 for the season, behind the Lions at this point. We'll move on to the Washington Redskins. Who will face the 7-5-1 Giants. They're also 7-5-1. They're actually right now the 6th seed in the playoffs. Jeff, are you giving the Redskins a win versus the Giants this week?
That's a tough one, man. But both teams need it. But I'm going to go with the Redskins. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to give them a win there. That gives the Giants a loss. I'll put that in their column for it. The following week, Jeff, the Redskins are on the road at the 49ers.
I think they're going to lose.
Okay, I would agree with that. The following week, they are home versus the Browns.
I think they'll win.
Okay, and they end up the season at home versus the Cowboys, who I would think don't necessarily need the game. I'm not sure, but if they win a couple more games, at least one more, they would probably wind up at the 5th seed and no worse. So
no, I can't see them resting too many players either.
Okay. So you're giving away, which way are you going with that one?
I'll say Cowboys.
Okay, so that's a loss. So if things hold true, the Redskins would win 9, they would lose 7, and they'd be 9-7-1, headed toward the playoffs. They would be percentage points ahead. So right now, it would be the Redskins and the Lions. But let's go through the Giants that's the schedule. So you've already told me they're going to lose this week to the Redskins, correct?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, then they're on the road versus the Vikings.
That's a tough one too, man. I don't know. On the road, they're playing in Minnesota.
In Minnesota.
I think they're going to lose.
Okay, then they come home and finish they finish their home schedule versus the Colts.
I think they'll beat the Colts.
And then they go on the road week 17 versus the Eagles, or week 18, I guess it is, 17th game versus the Eagles in Philly, a game the Eagles will definitely not need to win other than play their starters for whatever time they decide to play them.
Yeah, I think the Eagles will win. I think they're just too good of a team.
So at that case, you have the Giants finishing 8-1. So the Giants would fall out of the playoffs, and the last two seeds would be the Lions and the Redskins. So that's how Jeff sees it. We've got it on paper. I don't know if he's right or wrong. I disagree a little on the Giants. For the most part, I kind of agree with you along the way. I think you've kind of nailed most of it. I do think that this is the game for the Giants. The winner of this game Sunday night gets to the playoffs for sure. The other one's got to sweat. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I listen, the Giants, it depends. If they play a complete game, they could hang with most teams.
Yes, I agree.
Without their receivers, their receivers are too much in question, and it makes them too one-dimensional of a team.
Well, Jeff, they were one-dimensional early in the season, and they had no receivers then either. But the difference is they were healthier. I mean, right now you got to think Leonard Williams has been out for 2 games with a bad neck. Xavier McKinney's been out for 4 weeks with a busted hand that he hurt on spring break. Dory Jackson, their starting corner, has been out for 3 weeks now with a knee problem. Half their offensive line's been out, other than the one Andrew Thomas, the tackle, is probably the top 2 or 3 tackle in the league at this point this year. Barkley's been a little nipped, and again, no Galladay all year. Kadarius Toney's gone. Wan'Dale Robinson's been out for 3 weeks now with a blown out knee. The Giants, and Sterling Shepard's been gone for. So, the Giants had to rely on running all season. They just haven't done a good job at it the last few weeks.
It took them a long time to go through all of those receivers.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Every week it looked like as though that somebody else was going to step up, and then they just kept losing them to injury, and then they traded a couple.
I'll give you one. Their best receiver the last 2 weeks has been a guy by the name of Isaiah Hodgkins. Have you ever heard of Isaiah Hodgkins?
No. What was the other guy that was the receiver for them too? He was a rookie or something, James White or whatever his name was.
He's the punt returner. He was on the James, Eric James, something James. I can't think of his name right now. They have had basically nothing all year. Galladay's riding the pine on the sideline. I don't even know if he's dressing at this point.
Man, wow, what a waste of money.
Yeah, that has been turned into be one of the worst contracts of all time. But listen, I could see them. Again, I think the Giants more than the Redskins. Giants need this win. I can see the Redskins losing this game and then still running the table and being right there. If the Giants lose this one, they're gonna have a hard time. They're gonna have a hard time. It's hard. Jeff, once you start losing, it's hard to change the narrative.
Well, of course.
So it's going to be very tough for them to turn this around without a win this week, and I think they can win. I think this Giant team is as good as the Redskins, and I just think they lost the last game. The Giants, the Redskins didn't beat them. The Giants blew that game. They had to win. It was over. They had to make 1 or 2 plays, and that game is completely done and over with. And they didn't do it, and they let the Redskins in it, and they wound up with a tie. But had the Giants won that game, this game's almost meaningless for the Giants. But listen, they lose. They tied. They didn't lose.
Did the Redskins ever get Chase Young back this year?
I believe he's supposed to play this week.
So he still hasn't played yet?
He has not played yet this year.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was injured for the longest time, obviously. And then I think when he was ready to come back, he got sick. I don't know if it was COVID, flu, but he was under the weather. They didn't want to put him out there coming off the injury. And so they basically left him, said, well, they're coming off their bye week. So they held him to the bye week. And I believe he's going to be back this week. So how much does he have? He haven't played. I don't even know if he played last year, right? I think he was out most of
last year, yeah.
And then this year he hasn't played. So
last year.
Yeah. So I don't know what you can really expect from the guy. I mean, I think if you're them, you hope these 4 games he gets the football skills back and he's ready for the playoffs if they were lucky enough to make it. But I don't think you can expect a lot out of Chase Young Sunday night.
No, I don't think so. If he's not playing, I want to look up his stats if he's even has any.
I don't think he has any this year. I don't
think you're right. I don't think he's played at all.
Yeah, I don't believe he's played at all. So I think we'll see how that works out for him. But I'm also going to bring up our roster.
Defense.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't see him yet playing anything. I don't think he played.
Okay, so Jeff, we got to take a quick look at our roster. We can't play.
I made a change.
You did? Okay, good. What change did you make? Okay, Cole Kmet's in, which is good. Nick's in. So we got nobody else playing tonight, correct? Correct. Jets defense versus that. We got Parsons. So, I mean, whoa, I lost you. Hold on.
That was me.
Okay.
To go bring up on our end.
Okay.
It ended up going down. And what I did is I changed tight ends.
I see that, which is good because Noah Fant did nothing last week.
No.
So, Cole back.
I got a question. We got Stevenson from New England who's questionable.
Yep, Marquise Brown's questionable.
Yeah, but right now we have Rashad White or Rashid White. I don't know if we should throw him in there. And then as far as Marquise Brown goes, we could put in Alan Lazard, who's projected to get almost 11.
Yeah.
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah, we could go that way. Yep.
You know, Lazard is due for a decent game.
All right, so let's get Lazard into the lineup at this point. We can monitor it and watch it and see what happens, but he's in the lineup at this moment.
Going to take his face out?
Well, that's a good question. I think we probably should take Stevenson out and go with White.
That we should hold off because Stevenson, I think it's an ankle injury.
Yeah, it is. Well, here it is. Ramondre Stevenson did not practice. There's a chance that Steven gets up to questionable line with some limited work on Friday, but it's looking like Damian Harris will be the lead back versus Vegas.
Yeah. Well, I think we should take Marquise Brown. I think he has like the shits pretty much.
Yeah, well, Marquise Brown's out of the lineup. So we took him out and Lazard's in. And I guess Stevenson plays 4 o'clock. What time does White play? White plays at 4. So we have until 4 o'clock on Sunday to make that move if we want to wait that long.
Right now we're in a virtual tie with Frank Catalano.
Yes, and we need to win. We need a W. Let's look at the standings while we're up here. Let's get the standings up so we can kind of get an idea where we're at.
Yeah, I think we're
7th, I think. 6th. So if we beat Frank, that gets us into 5. And then we would need either John or Iggy Mo to lose, or DC Rippers. So we would need a win, and we would need at least 2 of these teams to bounce. Let's see who's playing who this week. DC Rippers and Najee by Nature are playing each other. So one of them is going to knock the other one out.
How is it everybody else is 7-7? You want to talk about parity? Matt is 1 and
Matt's 11-3.
11-3, who takes this shit way too seriously.
I'm telling you, the guy eats and sleeps to this shit. I'm telling you. So, so we need to. It starts with us. We got to beat the Catman. If we beat the Catman, so think about this: the Catman loses, we move up to 5. He's 6. Now, DC Rippers and Najee by Nature are playing each other. So one of them is going to lose. So one of them now has an 8th loss. Well, we'd have 8 wins. So that moves us up. So if we win, we're almost guaranteed to move up. Now, the only thing that could screw us up, if Tony's tip-top team wins, and they're playing Anthony's Amazing, which is probably a win for him, we got to watch that he doesn't score too many points because then he could jump us at that point.
I'm looking at Frank right now as it stands. We at the rate this is going, we would win. Right.
Correct. Now. Yep. we need a W. That's the first thing.
He has Allen, who's got going to have an incredible week. Good God, man, he made the pick and a half when he got him.
Who's that? Frank Catman?
Yeah, when he picked Josh Allen.
Yeah. Well, again, Allen hasn't been great lately. I don't think he's winning because of Allen. Now Justin Jefferson's been a big pick.
Beg to differ. Look at his points.
Yeah, I see it, 37, but he's playing in the snow against Miami. He didn't kill it this weekend. He's beatable. He's got Murray. Kittle's playing tonight. Thielen, who's been okay. Buffalo's defense. Yeah, I mean, listen, right here's his team right here: Allen and Jefferson.
Yeah,
and Jefferson had no touchdowns last week, but he had I think 11 catches for 223 yards. So
we got to hope that what's his face has a bad game. The Broncos have a bad game.
Yes, you're 100% right, because then Murray's bad. He's got McManus, the kicker.
Yeah, he has a couple different Denver guys.
Yeah, so we need to have a good week. A win by us almost assuredly gets us in the playoffs.
Oh, I hope so.
Well, if again, as long as the only way I think we don't get there with a win is if Tony's tip-top team scores a ton of points. Because again, Catman loses, we're ahead of him. Najee by nature or DC Rippers lose, we're ahead of them. So now we're top 4. If Tony's tip-top team wins and scores a lot of points, Frankie's 90 points behind. So Frankie's really got no chance to do this at this point. He's just about out of this.
And what about Frank?
Frank Jeffrey that's his team. Two fish.
Frank Catalano.
Oh, Catalano, again, he wins, he's in. I mean, he wins. Between us two here, whatever one of us wins here gets in the playoffs. Whatever one wins here, between DC Rippers and Najee by nature, they get in the playoffs. Now, John's playing Red Zone Invasion versus Joe Bartelli's team. They're the worst team in the league. It would be a miracle to see them lose. So if Red Zone loses to Joe and we win, we move up there. So there's possibilities. It starts with us winning. We got to find our team's got to find a way to win.
I hope
a win, and I would say we're 99% in the playoffs, which would start the following week. Let's see. Right now, where's the schedule? So the playoffs right now would be Matt versus Iggy Mo's Najee by nature, and the DC Rippers against John's Red Zone Invasion.
So there's only 4 teams going to the playoffs.
That's it. 4 teams make the playoffs, and then this is the semifinals, and then the finals are week 17 would be the winner. So again, right now we're on the outside looking in, but with with this team and this team playing each other this week, one of them's going to knock the other one out of the playoffs.
We can only hope.
Yep. So we'll see what happens, but we'll have to take a look Sunday morning and make sure that we got everything set up and we're ready to go. So, hey guys, thanks for hanging in there. We're going to go a few more minutes here with the Hard Rocket Sports Show. I know Jeff's a little tired, and so am I. I think we get a couple of more things in here before we call it a night.
I'd like to look at the transactions.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm just saying I like to see who's done what.
Uh-huh.
And Frank is another one that does a lot and adds and takes away.
Frankie's another guy. You're on the thread. You never comment, but me, Frank, and Matt are on the thread, and those two guys are just constantly going back and forth on what who's playing well. And they, Frankie's retired. He's home, so all day long he's in like 2 or 3 leagues. These
guys have nothing to do.
I'm lucky if I get to spend 10 minutes a night going through some of the things and looking up different players and stuff. So it's with the holidays and the house and all the other shit going on, it's just insane. So
yeah, I see what they do and what they're doing, and a lot of times I just like I can't get that deeply involved like they do, and
most people don't.
Matt, especially.
Matt,
like, oh my God, damn.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's already scouting. I'm guarantee it. He's already scouting not only the USFL, which kicks off again in April, the XFL starts. I think there's 2 XFL starting, if I'm not mistaken.
That I don't know.
I know there's at least The Rock has the XFL coming back. I don't know if there's a second version of that, but you have The Rock's XFL, you have the USFL, all kicking off this spring. In fact, I think the XFL kicks off the week after the Super Bowl. So, Matt's already guaranteed. He's already scouting, and he's insane. I'm telling you, he's insane. He's completely insane.
I don't think I could get that deeply involved.
I love it. I love the game. I love talking about the game, but I can't get that. I can't get in the weeds that deep. I enjoy the fantasy league. I was a little disappointed that there's not a lot of trash talking going on. I tried to start a little and nobody got in it, but if you're competitive and you take it serious, it's fun. We're hanging in to see if make the playoffs.
John took a lot of wind out of the sails.
Why? Oh yeah, we tried. He wasn't biting.
No. We should just go on there and just say that he sucks.
Well, his team has improved. He was one of the worst, and he's changing around, and he's hanging in there. So
trade in the league this year that I know of.
I do not believe there was any trades because I think as co-commissioner or as commissioner, I would have to have approval of it. So I don't believe there was any trades. Listen, we'll make some adjustments in the offseason. Hopefully we'll bring it back next year. We might make it into a legacy league where we'll have to talk about keeping some of our guys and what guys to give up. But let's get to the end of the season and then see what happens, see where it goes from there. So again,
upgrade the quarterback position.
Yeah, it was. I tell you, that's probably been the biggest disappointment is that he did not have a bigger season. There was a 4 or 5 week stretch where he was absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, he wasn't the best, but I mean, he wasn't bad either.
No. Again, it's I think our strategy was good. We made a lot of changes. I think you've you saved the season with some of the picks. I think Stevenson saved our season to a certain extent. A couple of those guys that you projected and picked up had big weeks for us and gave us some W's that we needed. So
Stevenson definitely was a good pickup.
Was probably pickup of the year for us. He came off the bye, and he's been a consistent, 10, 12, 15 points a week, and it's been really good. I think our had we had Mike White quarterbacking earlier on, I think Garrett Wilson would have been a bigger play for us.
But you want to know something? If you look at Wilson's stats, like he I don't know, he wasn't that much better. Like he's averaging almost 12 points a game. Okay.
Yeah.
He got almost 10.8 last week, 22.2, 26.9. But the week before that, he was 2.2, and then 13.9, 15.0. And then he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row where he only hit 9 points. On the second week, he had 26 points, but he went 5 weeks in a row that he didn't even get, or 6 weeks in a row, he didn't even get into double digits.
Yeah. And just looked it up. You're right. There was not one trade made this year.
Yeah.
Not one trade. I'm in the transactions, and there is not one trade. Not one trade made. I'm not even sure if there was an offer of a trade. There might have been 1 or 2 that I saw earlier on. I think, in fact, somebody offered us a trade, and then I think they canceled it out before we had a chance. Before we had a chance to do it. So. But listen, if we have a legacy team, obviously we want to keep Tyreek Hill's been our best player all year. But Wilson may be a guy we might want to hold on to. The Jet defense is something you got to think about. I mean, they've been really good all year. But listen, it's we got to win this week and get to the playoffs, and then anything's possible. I want to celebrate with all you need is a little bit of a run. And we got to win 3 more games. Just win 3 games, and it's all ours. So we did it to start the season. We were 3-0, and maybe we can end the season on a 3-0 run. Let's see.
Would be nice.
So we'll regroup on Sunday morning and take a look at our squad. I do not see changing the quarterback or our receivers. I think Mixon is solid. Komet's got to play, and I guess the only question is, do we stick with Brown and do we stick with Stevenson? So we'll
Komet, I think I benched him. No, I got Komet playing.
Yes.
Font.
Yes, yeah. Font didn't score any points last week.
Yeah.
If he had got a couple points and we started Peoples-Jones, we win that game. We made the decision it's just to bench Peoples-Jones, and it didn't work out. He had 15 points.
Yeah, too many times we were chasing points and we were doing it the wrong way.
Yep, 100%. We learned some stuff, but it's we're in it, and we got a chance with a W this week to get to the playoffs. Let's regroup on Sunday for that. A couple more stories, Jeff, then we'll wrap it up. Hey, you know what? I saw an announcement today on there's a ton of concerts next year, like all sorts of different concerts. It's like a revival again. Who knows if with these COVID mandates and masks, if anything's going to change. But for right now, there's a lot of different concerts. But a couple caught my eye. One of them was this. If this was 1987, this would be a huge concert. So it looks like Kiss, Maiden, Motley Crue, and Slipknot are going to be headlining France's Hellfest 2023. Now, I've never heard of Hellfest, but it's like the Geritol concert. I mean,
I think I've seen not advertisements, but I've seen posters for that.
Mm-hmm.
And, some of them are like they're like day-long festivals or something.
Yeah.
God only knows what them fucking tickets must cost.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, I to be honest with you, I've never gone to a festival. I know you went to. Didn't you do like Monsters? One of the Monsters of Rock? I don't know. Maybe.
You don't want to go to a festival at this point in time, man.
Yeah, but I tell you, to be able, I can't say I went to. I won't call it a festival. I did go to a. I went to a show. K-Rock had a dysfunctional family picnic every year, and I got to see Limp Bizkit, Ozzy. Stone Temple Pilots. I got to see about 7 bands. I'm blanking on a few. A couple of at the time they were younger bands that became big names, and it was a lot of fun. But I mean, I was there from 11 in the morning till about 1 a.m. at the PNC, and it was tiring. Like another one was what was that band with Scott Stapp? What's
Creed?
Creed. I saw Creed. I actually think they headlined. If I wasn't mistaken, they were the headline. I was ready to leave before they came on, but the group I went with, I was stuck. I didn't have my car, and they wanted to see Creed, so I got stuck for an hour set of Creed at that time.
My God!
Yeah, so I wasn't very happy, but I was stuck.
Matter of fact, here, where is it? I got it right here.
What do you got?
I gotta fucking see Creed.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I have to tell you, they weren't bad. I just am not a Creed fan.
You're not a Scott Stapp fan.
Yeah, whatever. Same thing to me. It's his band. I thought Limp Bizkit was okay. In fact, Limp Bizkit in the middle of that set, the power went out, and it turned out that Sharon Osbourne had them pull the plug in the middle of their set.
Man, wow.
Nut job, yeah. He was actually good. Stone Temple Pilots was great. I was never a fan before that. I became sort of a fan that night because they were incredible live. Have you ever seen STP live?
No.
Oh, they were. Again, I'm not a huge fan, but boy, live they were awesome. Oh,
and that was what's his face, Scott Weiland.
Yeah. The whole band. I saw Ozzy that night. It was him and Zach and what's his name? Who's the band? No, I think it's the guy who's in Metallica now. Wasn't he in Ozzy for a while?
Robert Trujillo.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of him.
Yeah, me either. But they were really good. Ozzy was good that night. Not as good as it's funny. I thought when I saw him with Sabbath, he was much better than he was the night that I saw him on his own back then. But again, it was 1999. That was the closest thing I ever went to a festival. But again, if the United States had a festival and Maiden, Kiss, and Crew were playing, I'd have to think about it but ultimately I probably wouldn't go because
it's a long day, man.
Yeah, I got you. So you really got to be a fan, and you probably got to be much younger to do it. So, but it's an interesting lineup, and there's a lot of these concerts next year. Again, I think Def Leppard and Motley Crue are going out again with I think Alice Cooper. Anthrax has some shows lined up. I made a couple of notes. Who else has concerts next year? Pantera. So did you see the Pantera that Rex Brown's missed a couple of shows so far? But they're talking about they're going out with Priest next year.
Yeah, it's already taken on too much, man.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I know you don't. I get it, but it seems to have gotten a lot of waves, Jeff. I mean, it seems like people are eating this up.
Yeah, not me.
No, I know, and probably rightfully so. I won't argue with you, but it seems like a lot of people are buying into this, and now that I think they're going out with Metallica at some point. They're obviously going out with Priest on I think that considers Priest's 50th anniversary tour. I think. So I mean, it's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of bands going out. I know Poison. Bret Michaels has got a tour going on. There's a whole bunch of bands out next year. I'm not saying there's too many of them I want to go see, but it is nice to see that the bands are out there playing again, and it's not dead yet. And music's new music's dead, but the concerts are still out there.
Well, you know what? None of these concerts are giving me anything that I'm like, wow, I got to see this, or I want to see that.
Let's be honest. Unless I told you that Black Sabbath was coming around, there probably isn't a concert that I could entice you with.
No, there probably isn't. But you know what? I mean, I just none of these are good combinations to me. I just don't see them.
No, I get it.
Combination that I want to see. You know what I
mean?
Let's
put it this way. To me, I think the closest thing to that would even remotely pique your interest, and I still don't think you'd go, but would have to be either Maiden and Priest, if they were to do something, if they were going to be at the Garden or they were going to be at the PNC or something, that may pique your interest. But again, if I couldn't get you to go to that concert, there isn't a concert out there I can get you to go to, other than a reunion of Black Sabbath.
I don't know, dude. I don't even know if I would go at that at this point in time, because you know what? I just know that it's such a tiring day.
Yeah.
You don't like to go. It's just the energy you're expending. And I hate to say stuff like that. It's just like, are you going to get back what you put into it? You know what I mean?
No, I get it. You want to leave early enough that you beat some of the traffic and you get in and you get a good spot. But now you're there 2 hours and change before the concert. You're seeing an opening act, and you're seeing a 2-hour set, and then you're driving home. It's a 7-hour excursion.
Yeah, it's just, and it's everything is so expensive. You can't even so much as get a water or a hot dog or a pretzel without spending God knows how much.
I agree.
It's so much money.
Listen, I totally, my wife says, we'll be driving and we'll talk about, or she'll hear something come up. I listen to a lot of satellite radio, and they're always giving out this concert's coming, this band's coming. So you're gonna go, and I'm no. And so she's like, she says, is there any band you will go see next year? And I said, the only thing I would do is if it's here, if the last Kiss concert is in New York City, the very last ever Kiss concert, I would try to go to. If it's second to last, third to last, middle of the road last, I won't go. I've seen them already. But if the last Kiss concert is in New York City somewhere, I'll go. That would be the only concert at this moment I could see myself dragging myself to.
Yeah, just, like knowing how much you go, you got to park the car.
Yeah.
That cost how much, the tickets cost how much.
Sure.
I don't know.
I took my wife to see Elton John. Now, luckily for me, my company's yard is 50 feet from the Prudential Center. So I got to park in our lot for free. So I saved a few bucks. But it still cost me for decent seats, not great seats. We were floor level, a little above floor, maybe like one section, just half a section, front row of up. But all the way, furthest from the stage. And I would tell you with the fees, the taxes, I paid almost $800 for 2 seats.
Oh my God.
2 seats. And listen, it was his last tour. My wife, it's one thing my wife always said she wanted to see was Elton John once before he retired. So I bought the 2 seats for us to go. It was worth it. It was a great concert. It was not something I would have went to on my own, but I'm glad I went to see it. But yeah, if I had to pay for parking and then we, done dinner and all that, it would have been $1,100 a night.
Yeah, it's insane. That's insane.
Yeah. So I can't do that all the time, but you find something to do. But the last Kiss concert ever. And if I went and paid and they did, and it wasn't the last one ever, if they ever come back, I'd shoot them. But yeah, if the last Kiss concert is in New York City in 2023, like it's supposed to, I would do anything I can to go to that concert to say I was at their last show. But short of that, Jeff, I'm with you. Nothing excites me enough where I've seen Maiden enough times. I loved them. I don't know. Again, every concert's a Wednesday night. It's a Tuesday night. So you're working all day. You're not going to take a day off of work. So you work all day. You run to the concert. The next thing you know, I'm out of the house from 5 o'clock till 11 o'clock at night. It's, and now I'm shot for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot, man. It's a lot.
Yeah. And to be honest, for realistically, not the greatest quality concerts either.
I just like I said, there's nobody that I really want to go and sit for God knows how many hours and see. Yeah,
no, I'm with you. I can't think of too many that would pop up that I would say. Like I said, I screwed up. I should have went to see. It came through this summer and I forgot about it until it was too late. I would have liked to see Paul McCartney once in concert. So if he does come around again, I probably would do that just to say I got to see Paul McCartney once. But again, short of that, unless the guys from Rush put something together, I can't think of too many bands I want to go see at this point. There's been some rumors of some small shows for bands like Triumph. I would do that. I never saw Triumph live. I would love to see those guys play. I know they're 100 years old, but that's a band I've always loved. But other than that, there's no Van Halen thing I'd want to see at this point. None of that stuff.
Nothing happening out of that side.
No, I know they tried to. It seemed like everybody was in on the Van Halen thing. They actually had a band put together, like a set band, and they were gonna have a bunch of people come around it. It seemed like David Lee Roth was the guy holding the whole thing up.
Yeah, well, do you really want to see him play now at this point in time anyway?
No, but you couldn't go to a Eddie Van Halen tribute and not have Dave there at this point. To me, you'd have to have Dave and Sammy. I mean, I saw Van Halen with Sammy, and it was short of Motley Crue, probably one of the worst concerts I've ever been to. They were just horrendous.
Yeah, I walked down on them too.
They were horrendous.
I just didn't want to hit them.
Yeah, again, I got to see Eddie play live. I mean, he was sitting down the whole concert, no energy. It was just a bad show altogether. Nassau Coliseum, but I got to see Van Halen live, so I went. Hey, what's up, Mike? But again, short of that, but so the one thing seems to be holding up the Eddie Van Halen tribute is Dave, and I don't get it. I mean, if you're Dave, you got to be thankful he let you back in to begin with. But you also can't do it unless you're going to have Michael Anthony there. You can't have a Van Halen tribute without the original members all being there, and then maybe the son jumping in and a whole bunch of different guitar players playing. So to me, it's got to be Dave, Sammy, Alex, Michael, and then a whole bunch of guitar players playing Eddie Van Halen stuff. And that to me is an Eddie Van Halen tribute. Short of that, don't bother.
I don't think you're ever going to get to see that.
No, you're probably not. You're probably never going to get to see that. That's you're 100% right.
Sadly.
Yeah. Again, to me, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do a series of shows, but you go out to LA, you do a pay-per-view, or you record it and you put it up online and let people buy it. But you do one show out in LA and you bring in 6-7 guitar players, and Joe Satriani, you bring in a bunch of guys who are contemporaries or guys who let me ask you a question. Who would you put in that show? If you were picking guitar players to do that, who would you put?
You know what, dude? I don't know, because is there anybody that's really going to do it justice? And I don't
know. I mean, I can't imagine that Lynch or Joe Satriani, a couple of those guys. I mean, I wouldn't want to see Malmsteen do it. I think he would overdo it.
I don't know if he'd overdo it. I just don't think that he has the style to fit in there and make it feel good.
Yeah.
George Lynch, maybe. Some of these other guys, maybe. But after that, what you fucking Zach Wild?
No. It's not. When I think of Zach Wild, I think more Randy Rhoads, that kind of stuff.
I don't think he could do that stuff either.
Well, he did Randy all those years in Ozzy's band, so I mean, he didn't do a terrible job.
Those pinch harmonics that he does.
Yeah. I'll tell you another one. I was YouTubing this weekend. I was practicing. I picking up some new songs, kind of remember some old ones in case we do the jam. I wanted to kind of be able to at least function. I haven't played a lot of guitar this year, but the last few weeks, I kind of boned up on some of the old songs that I know we're gonna play. And anyway, so I was learning something. I'm trying to think what it was, but anyway, do you ever watch those videos? Do you watch a lot of YouTube?
Yeah, from time to time, yeah.
Well, there's a lot of them especially when you're looking at music stuff where it says to four guys listening to Iron Maiden for the first time, and
I see them videos.
Yeah, so I caught this one at 420-something, maybe early 30s, black guys, and they were listening to Eddie Van Halen's solo at one of those shows with Sammy. I don't know if you ever saw the one where he's in the baggy pants.
He was wearing those for a while, but
yeah. So anyway, there's one. I've seen the video a bunch of times. They happen to be watching it, and it was their reaction to it. And I watched a whole bunch of different ones from those guys. There was a bunch of music ones with like what do they call singing coaches listening to like Jeff Tate or
I've seen them before.
Yeah, and I get a kick out of watching them because you get people. We've heard these things so many times that you kind of go, yeah, it's Eddie Van Halen, or that's Jeff Tate hitting Queen of the Reich and all that stuff. And you watch these people reaction. It's actually pretty funny, some of them.
I wonder how honest they're being, though.
I don't know. I mean, they have no reason to really, not rip them. I mean, to be honest with you, I've seen one, maybe two, where they were like, that's okay. It's not great. It's okay. Or they didn't kind of go crazy. But I've watched a whole bunch where they're like, oh my God, like this one, they were oohing and ahhing about first they watched Van Halen solo, and then I watched them watch Crazy Train for the first time. And that was pretty cool. So I thought those were pretty cool. I every so often I'll get a kick and I'll watch 4 or 5 of those videos.
Yeah.
So
I've seen them before. Some of them. Yeah,
some are actually pretty cool. But again, lots of concerts next year. I have noticed there's less and less new music coming out. There are some people. Vinnie Moore's got some new music coming out. A bunch of like secondary guys. A lot of like so and so's bass players got a new album coming out, and I know Overkill's got a new album and a concert coming out. I think this is their 20th album. How many albums in before you ditched Overkill?
It's been a while now, only because all of their stuff sounds the same.
Yeah, I would. I'm not a huge Overkill fan. I tried to be with some of the newer stuff, and it's okay. Would you say you got through the first 10 albums?
Probably.
Yeah.
Around there, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Most of it sounds the same.
I agree. I agree. You saw our buddy Bobby Gustafson no longer in Violence, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I talked to Bob. He's going to come on at some point. He wanted to. He said he was hold it till he's ready to announce some new stuff. So we'll get Bobby. I'll have to talk to him about
some new stuff now, I believe.
Yeah, I know he put out some Satan's Taint material.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Violence was recording elsewhere, or wanted to go on another tour or something.
Well, I think they wanted him to move to California. If I got it right, they wanted him to move to California. And I think he basically wanted him to pay for him to fly back and forth to do whatever he wanted. I guess he didn't want to leave Florida. Bobby's a big conservative guy. I think he doesn't like California. So I think that just didn't work out.
Wow.
So we'll see. But also, have you talked to our buddy Tom Lorenzo? Is he going to come on anytime soon?
I haven't asked him in a while, but I don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I mean, can we talk about that, or should we not be talking about it?
I don't know.
All right, so we'll hold off.
Let's wait till after Christmas, and then we'll see what we could do.
Okay.
As far as him and coming on and see what he wants to do.
Yeah, because to me, I always thought he was like best buddies with those guys. So
I guess not.
I guess not. especially if what you told me is true. The reason why they bounced.
You know why he would lie? You know what I mean?
No. If anything, he's going to give you completely opposite take on that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but
I feel bad for him, but listen, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I've seen him post some stuff, and it seems like he's got some other stuff going on now. So good for him.
Yeah,
good for Tommy. So yeah, we'll try. But yeah, so that's it, Jeff. We'll wind it up here. I mean, I got a few other things, but nothing spectacular. We talked a lot of football again, guys. Some great games this weekend. Make sure you catch the Jets line again. It's shocking to me, Jeff, that I'm about to tell you that the Jets and the Lions Week 15 is a big game and should actually be a really good football game.
Yeah, listen, we will find out. I mean, both teams need the game, so
yeah,
let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think a loss by either team probably, I lost by the Jets isn't devastating, but it definitely doesn't help. And the same thing for if the Lions were to lose, they would be 2 games and change behind the Giants or the Commanders. It would be a real tough road for them to get there. So a couple of good games for the locals. Giants on Sunday night, which is never good. Giants on a prime time and never do well. On the road in Redskin land, but I'm going to be pulling for my team. Hopefully, I'll pull one out. And of course, I'll be watching at 1 o'clock. I'll be watching the Jets. Glued to that game because it should be a great football game, a great defense versus a really good offense. And it's scary to say that, but a really good Lions offense.
Yeah.
So
they're improved without a doubt.
Yeah, and we'll have a lot more to talk about. I'm not sure if there's a Sunday Audible show this week. I'll have to talk to the boys. I'd like to do one, but we haven't done one in a couple of weeks. But we'll see what happens. I do have another house showing, so I might not be able to be in the house. I got to take a look at it. Got to check the schedule for Saturday, but we'll talk off the air. I don't know if you're busy, if John's busy. John hasn't been around very much. I know he's got some issues with the record label going on. So,
oh, really bad or?
John's got a lot of soul searching to do. I know he's said he was already soul searching, but he's definitely got some thought process in there. So we'll see. I'll tell you about it off the air and. But we'll see. But if not, listen, we're a week and 2 days from Christmas Eve. Looking forward to next week's show. Will be a lot of football, a lot of Christmas. Hopefully, I'll be able to get I'll get some yeses on the guests I've asked to come on. I'm hoping I'll have the half man on the half shelf. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can invite him and his new lady on. I have not seen nor talked to his new beloved. We'll see if we can.
This would be great.
Could you imagine we have the reveal right here on the air?
Oh my God. I don't know, man. We may want to have a review.
How about if we ask him to come on? I'll even offer money, but I tell him she's got to come on camera with a sheet over her like a ghost, and we have to do the reveal right on the air.
Oh my God. Yeah. Don't offer him money though. Offer him gin.
And the Gordon's gym, right? Like
well, you're not going above first shelf, second shelf.
Yeah, like you're gonna go for like the $4 for 6 gallon stuff.
Yeah. Definitely.
He's living on Bay Street, right across from Mode.
Oh my God, where in a can somewhere?
Don't know. I the last time I talked to him, he was having he rented an apartment that the person who rented it to him didn't have permission to rent out.
He's still in that one?
No, he got thrown out of that one, and I think he was couch surfing for a little while. Then he was in a hospital for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when he got out, I was worried about him, and then I talked to him the other day, and he called me. He's looking to buy an acoustic for his kid, and he said, "I said well, you should take a ride down to Mode, go see John. Maybe he's got something reasonable hanging on the wall." He goes, "Oh yeah, I can walk right across the street. I live across the street." I said, "Okay, that's the first time I'm hearing that." He's back in Rosebank and living across the street from Mode Music somewhere. I don't know if it's in a box, in a can, under somebody's tire. I'm not sure where, but he's in the old neighborhood.
In a lean-to alongside the building.
For all I know, he's living under the old porch at Chestnut Avenue.
Oh my God.
Place. I'm just not sure where he is at this point.
Oh my God.
So,
poor Hefner.
but like I said, he's in a relationship, and maybe we can ask for the reveal right here on the show.
Well, is that what he calls it, a relationship?
He put it up on Facebook, in a new relationship.
Yeah, well, that was kind of quick.
It was very. 1 minute he was all alone, and the next minute he's got the instant family thing working. So we'll see.
Get married soon.
That's my wife said. The save the date should be going out any day now. So
Really?
no, we kid because every time it's he's got the save the date. He's got the
I love her.
Huh?
I love her.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so we shall all see. But listen, you guys have been great hanging in there with it tonight. We have a few laughs. We got a nice show next week. Got a lot of great football this weekend. We got the holiday season. We need to get Jeff into the holiday season, and of course, we got the Remorons on December 30th, the second to last night at Juicy Lucy. A little surprising that the Juicy Lucy franchise is going away, but lots of whispers and rumors that will stay out of that whole thing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're happy that the Remorons are going to be one of the last acts. Are you guys the last part of the last show?
We hope. Let's see what happens. Only hope is a strong word there.
Oh, well, they'll be part of the last show. There's a couple bands that night. Looks like 10:30, 10:40 start for the Remorons, but Jeff will try to nail that down for us next weekend. And then we got the big holiday jam on January 5th, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, we got lots of football. We got lots of sports and music right here every Thursday night when Jeff and I get together. So do me a favor, guys. Have a safe weekend. Get your I still have a ton of shopping to do.
I didn't even start any.
Yeah, to be honest with you, we've got everything else done. The only thing I haven't really done is got my wife's stuff yet. So I am plotting and planning, but it's a rough one this year. But I'll get it done. I got a little time. So, but sit tight, guys. We'll be back next Thursday night. We'll do it all over again, Jeff and I. So please do me a favor. Jeff, I'll give you the last word. Anything you want to finish with?
No, man, that's about it until we meet again for next week.
All right. So listen, guys, have a great rest of your night, a great weekend. Enjoy the fall weather. We're heading into the winter weather, and get ready for snow. It's around the corner. I can feel it coming. But in the meantime, have a great night, a great weekend, a great rest of your week. Enjoy your shopping. Enjoy your gift buying. Make sure you buy us something. We always can use something down here at the Hard Rock and Sports Show. And, of course, have a great week. Come on back next Thursday night when Jeff and I get together to do one last show before Christmas and two more shows for the end of the year. So for Jeff Tomlinski, myself, and the whole crew over here at Hard Rock and Sports, have a great night. We'll see you next week. I'll talk to you off the air. Hey, Carrie Boyce, you're on a little late. We're calling it a night. We'll see you soon.
See you later, man.
All right, guys. See you, Jeff.
Bye.
Carrie, I'll talk to you.